When love waited under the baobab tree. Whispers in the wind. In the dusty heart of an African village called Mawinda, where the baobab trees stood like ancient sentinels watching over lives of joy and sorrow, lived a homeless girl named Lena. Her story was one of silence and pain. Her parents had died when she was just 9, victims of a fever no one could afford to name. Since then, she had slept under porches, survived on leftover scraps, and carried water for coins. Yet despite her hardship, Lena had a spirit that refused to dim. She sang while she worked, danced in the rain, and often stood alone by the river whispering dreams to the wind. Villagers found her strange. They said she was cursed, too beautiful for her own good. But none of them knew the real Lena, the girl who kept a diary made of torn pages hidden under a rock, writing to a future she believed in. And then came Tariq. Tariq was the firstborn son of Mr. Juma, the richest cocoa plantation owner in Mawinda. Tall, soft-spoken, and educated, Tariq was admired by everyone. Unlike others of his class, he didn't ignore the poor. He noticed them, especially Lena. He saw her one day helping an old woman lift water barrels and smiled at her courage. Lena saw him, too, but kept her head down. What was a girl of dust to a prince of wealth? But fate had other plans. They kept meeting, at the well, at the market, under the same mango tree. Words turned into glances, glances into smiles, and one rainy evening, smiles turned into a confession. "I don't care where you sleep," Tariq said, his voice trembling. "My heart knows where it wants to rest." Lena didn't answer. She only cried. Their love blossomed in secret. Under the watchful stars, beside cracked huts, they made promises. But destiny intervened. Tariq received a scholarship to a prestigious university in America. "It's only for 4 years," he told her, pressing her hands. "When I return, I'll build us a home." Lena smiled through her tears. "Promise me," she whispered. "I swear it on the roots of the baobab," he replied. Tariq left. And time, cruel and silent, began to pass. The road of shadows and light. Without Tariq, Mawinda felt emptier than ever. Lena waited each day at the post office, hoping for a letter. Weeks turned to months. Letters came less and less, then stopped. People said Tariq had forgotten her, that he had found someone in America. Lena didn't believe them. She held on to his last words. But life didn't wait. Lena fell ill, a deep cough that tore through her lungs. Tuberculosis, they said. She had no money for medicine, no family for support. She tried to work but fainted often. Villagers turned their eyes away. Only Mama Nia, an old herbalist, gave her shelter. Years passed. Lena survived, barely. But her soul burned with one hope, that Tariq would return. One day, unable to bear the silence, she left the village with a bundle of clothes and a faded picture of them together. She began walking from town to town, searching hospitals, churches, train stations, asking for a boy named Tariq Juma. He was tall, with kind eyes, she'd say. People pitied her, but no one had answers. One evening in a city called Harambee, while Lena sat coughing on the steps of a clinic, a black SUV pulled up. A man stepped out, wearing glasses and holding a bouquet of lilies. She didn't look up, but he did. "Lena." She raised her head. Time seemed to break. "Tariq," she whispered, voice cracking. He dropped the flowers. They embraced on the street, uncaring of stares. He wept into her shoulder. "I never forgot. I tried to write, but so much changed. I came back months ago and searched every village. I was told you had died. I almost did," she said with a weak smile. "But love kept me alive. Tariq took her to the best hospital in the capital. Weeks of treatment, nutrition, and care followed. Slowly, Lena began to recover. And under the very baobab tree where he had once made a promise, Tariq built her a house, strong, warm, and full of laughter. They married there with the whole village watching. A heart that found its home. The sun shone brightly the morning of their wedding. Lena, now healthy and radiant, wore a dress sewn by the village women, white cloth embroidered with golden threads and beads gifted by Mama Nia. As she walked down the path lined with flower petals, she felt like she was floating. Children sang, elders clapped, and the baobab tree, ancient and wide, swayed softly in the wind, as if blessing their union. Tariq stood waiting, dressed in his father's ceremonial robe, a symbol of strength and legacy. When Lena reached him, he gently took her hand, his eyes shining. "I found my home in you," he whispered. Their vows were spoken in the language of the ancestors, echoing through Mawinda with power. After the ceremony, drums rang through the air, and villagers danced late into the night. It was not just a union of lovers, it was the healing of wounds, the mending of hearts, the celebration of hope. In the years that followed, Lena and Tariq turned the house into a refuge for orphans and abandoned children. They built a small school, hired teachers, and taught the children that love was the strongest shelter of all. Lena often sat beneath the baobab tree, telling stories of stars, sacrifice, and faith. And whenever someone asked her what kept her going in the darkest hours, she smiled and said, "Because love always finds its way back, just like Tariq found me."